In this video, I'll be sharing what lighting I've installed in my van, how I plan to keep my food cool when I'm staying in the van, and what battery I'll be using for powering my appliances. When starting out on my van conversion, I thought about how I would be using the van, and so the power and appliances I'm installing reflect this usage. So first off, my van is a leisure and holiday vehicle. Starting out, I knew I definitely wouldn't be living in the van and would be using it for camping and overnight trips, of which I've already done quite a few. I would also use it as my day-to-day vehicle, be that for getting to work or for days out around Cornwall where I live. As a result, you'll see I haven't installed a state-of-the-art fridge or even some complex leisure battery with solar panels, simply because it would be overkill, unnecessary for my purposes, and put a big dent in my budget. I've no doubt there are many people with different views on van power, but my setup is perfectly suitable for my situation. I'll start with the lighting, and as I mentioned earlier, before I had even thought of putting a power source in the van, I needed easy to install effective lighting that was battery powered, and so I bought a pack of 6 LED spotlights. I installed 4 out of the 6 in the van, and these each get their power from 3 AAA batteries. They push to turn on and off, but also come with 2 remote controls for turning them all on and off at once, as well as adjusting their brightness and setting a timer for when they turn off. They came with very sticky double-sided tape, which stuck really strongly to my ceiling ply. Despite being a very basic method for illuminating the inside of my van, they've been really effective. I intend to keep these LEDs in the van for the time being, but now that I have a proper battery for the van, I can look into other ways of lighting, without having to worry about recharging AAA batteries, though they do last a very long time between charges. Moving on to van refrigeration, I had been eyeing up the Halfords 8 litre 12 volt in-car electric cool box for a while, as a method of keeping my food cool while camping. It's a small appliance that cools its inside compartment to 18 degrees below the outside temperature, and also has a heating function for keeping food warm. Not only can it be charged using the 12 volt port in the van, but it also has a USB charging socket too, and a mains adapter can be purchased separately. It only costs around £35, which I think is really great value. My plan was to fit one of these between my front seats, primarily for use while camping or staying somewhere overnight. I've previously used a standard cool box, and based on what I normally need to keep cool, I was happy that an 8 litre capacity would be suitable for my use. It's worth noting that the cool box won't be kept in my van all the time. My first consideration, however, was whether it would fit. In between the front seats of my MV200 is this segmented plastic surface. The numerous raised areas meant that this cool box wouldn't sit flat, and so I needed to address this. After a bit of thinking, I decided to make a wooden platform that the cool box could sit level on. I first made a cardboard template and then cut the finished shape out of a piece of scrap plywood I had available. I utilised screw threads already in the van floor to add 2 15cm M6 bolts at the back of the platform to hold it down, and I dowelled in a couple of legs near the front to provide support and to bring it level. I countersunk the bolts so they wouldn't scratch the underside of the cool box, and while the bolts hold quite well, due to their length there is a little movement. I'm not worried about it, but extra support underneath would no doubt sort this. I've decided to keep the platform in the van permanently, as it is relatively low profile and my surfboard sits on top of it well. In order to make the platform as functional as possible and use the space to the full, I cut in 2 holes to act as bottle holders, cut to the exact diameters of mine and my partner's bottles. I also cut a V-shape out of the front of the platform so as to ensure easy access to the 12 volt input and the USB and aux inputs too. The cool box is a perfect fit in between the seats and uses all of the space really well. In order to ensure that the cool box doesn't slide around and to keep it secure in case of an accident, I've utilised the carry strap that it comes with. The strap can be looped under 2 brackets that are built into the cool box and then under the platform to tighten it in place. All in all, it looks to be a very useful appliance for my camper, and I've already used it a number of times over the past few weeks for keeping food warm whilst driving, though it will get a proper test when we next go camping. I thought long and hard about how I wanted to power my van. Having camped a few times in the van, I knew that having a power source would be really useful. However, I have absolutely no experience with electrics, and I didn't want to spend loads of money either. Whilst a second battery that was charged via my van when moving would have been an option, it would have required a lot of wiring that I wouldn't have felt comfortable doing. In the end, I found a solution that is absolutely perfect for my van and the amount that I will use it as a camper. After a lot of research, I purchased a Novu 230 watt-hour power station from Amazon, and I've been really impressed with what I've seen so far. It retails at £180, but I managed to get it for about £150 with a discount code. It comes with a useful manual to explain what its numerous inputs can power and how it can be charged. There are a number of reasons why I chose this particular one, but the main one was that all of the inputs are found on the same side of the device. This is important to me because I hope to eventually build this battery unit into some van furniture so I have permanent and easy to access charging for all my devices. The battery has a clear screen that shows its level of charge as well as what method of charging is being used, and despite the ends being plastic, all the sides are protected in a metal casing. Slits in the side allow airflow to the battery, however when in use the battery operates silently. The battery charges via a DC input in the back, through the Type-C USB input in the front, and you can also charge it with a solar panel. On the top of the battery is a soft rubber handle, making it very portable. At 3.2 kilograms, it does have some weight to it, but it isn't too heavy to carry around and it does feel very sturdy. Moving on to the device charging methods. On the left is a 12-volt charging input, ideal for powering other appliances that might be in the van, such as my new electric cool box. There are 3 standard 5-volt USB inputs, as well as one Type-C input which charges up to 60 watt, which is perfect for fast charging phones. Finally, there is a 230 volt AC input which takes UK plugs for charging laptops and other mains appliances. Having such a great selection of inputs built into one device ensures I won't need lots of adapters when I go away. Whilst I've only used the battery a little bit, I feel pretty confident that it will be perfectly suited for use in my van. Getting one of these portable power stations definitely seems to be the most convenient way of getting off-grid power to a van, and I'm excited to put it through its paces on my next trip. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with the rest of my van build series.